Hello and welcome. In this section, we are going to start with the ABAP data types. And when we talk about data types, we are going to first talk about the pre-built data type, which you already have built in within the ABAP, and how to use those. What are those? So before that, we'll see what are the different types we can categorize these data types. So the first category or type is the elementary data type. These are the basic data type which is provided to you, and these are further divided into fixed length data type, where the length or the space it takes in the memory. For example, if we have a variable a and this is of type character 1, so this particular variable will be represented in the memory somewhere and will be stored in the memory somewhere. So this memory storage is of fixed length, or the content of this particular data type is of fixed length. You can only have a single character. So that is the fixed length, or that is what the meaning of fixed length is. Then here we have the numeric type, the character types, and the hexadecimal type. So we will see in the hands-on section what are the fixed length, how we can use that, what is the syntax for that. Now the second category is where the length is not fixed. If a variable a is of type string, then that particular variable can contain more than one character. That can contain a name, for example, that can contain a name Ajay, and that also contain a name C2, B2, D2. So if that is the name of a robot, then it can also contain that particular name. And you can see here, these are 4 characters or 4 letters, and here there are 6. So it can contain variable length value. So therefore, this particular elementary type is of variable length nature. We will see string and X string. They are the main example of that. Then there are some complex type where we defined our own structure, our custom structure. For example, if we are having an application which we want to build, and we are saying, okay, name is a particular structure, and the name should contain the first name, the last name, and the middle name. And these 3 things are separate strings within the name structure. So we can have a custom format or our own format as a structure, and this format can contain individual predefined elementary data types, or it can also happen that any individual type here can be again a structure. So it is also possible. So just to keep things simple, or we can say that the complex is a combination of elementary or many elementary. 2 elementary data types can create a complex data type. And also we can have that a complex data type plus an elementary. So we can have structure which contain fields in itself, which are again structure. So we'll see those examples as well in the hands-on section. Again, in the complex data type, we have tables, and tables are very commonly used or used a lot. So these are also comes into the complex data type, because table have structure, because a table is basically columns, and each column in itself, you can say, is a representation of a data type. So for example, if I store a record, then each individual columns will be, maybe name will be string, the age will be an integer, and so on. So this table will also be categorized as a complex data type. And then the third category is the reference. So we do have data reference and the class reference. In the data reference, you will find that field symbols. So field symbols are used a lot previously, where you basically point to a memory location. For example, I have a variable a, and this variable is stored in the memory somewhere. And instead of storing the value in the a, I can also store the memory location of where this particular variable value is stored. And when I basically use the memory location and I only deal with memory location, then this a can be of very large value, and I don't have to really take that into RAM while doing operation. Then this can speed up my operation, or this can speed up my program. So you will find a lot of time that field symbol are getting used. Now The other way is also to use a reference, class reference. So objects are nothing but a reference to the location where the details of that particular object are stored, and that is what is the modern way of using references are now with the 7.4 and 7.5, or majorly in the 7.5, or in the coming new changes of the language. The class reference or the object reference are to be preferred. You will see that the way to access the object and chain multiple methods, these are the common language practice which we are actually seeing in the modern language syntax. So not going into the details of the implementation, because we will again see those in the hands-on section when we cover individually. And these are the major category of the data type which we will see in ABAP. The first is the elementary, which have again categorization of fixed length and the variable length. And then we have the complex, where we have structures and tables. And then we have references, which are basically the pointers which are pointing towards the memory location. Okay, now we'll go to the next section where we will cover the hands-on part, and there we will see the elementary fixed length first, and then gradually move towards the variable length and towards the complex and towards the reference. I hope that this section is clear, and we will spend some time with the data types, because if you are already experienced ABAPer and you are very versed on this topic, I would advise you to either fast forward this sections, or you can basically skip those sections if you are confident enough. But we will also cover these topics for the new ABAPers or new developers who have picked ABAP and want to use this in their day-to-day programming.